In this video, we'll talk about how to multiply complex numbers. So let's say we have 5i times 7i. How can we multiply these two numbers together? Well, there are two facts that we need to remember. We need to know that I is equal to the square root of -1, and we need to know that I squared is equal to -1. So when we say 5i times 7i, that would just be equal to 5 times 7 is 35, and I times I is I squared. So remember, I squared we said is -1. So this is really just equal to 35 times -1. And that's just -35. So 5i times 7i is -35. Let's try another one. Let's say we have 5i times 3 plus 7i. How can we multiply these values? Well, we can just distribute this 5i. So we can say 5i times 3, that's 15i, plus, and then we can say 5i times 7i, so that's 35i squared. 35i squared. So remember we said I squared is just -1, so we can rewrite this as 15i plus 35 times -1. So this whole thing right here is just a -35. So we can write our final answer as -35 plus 15i. And usually when we write these types of answers, we put, if there is a constant such as -35, we write that first, followed by some number with an I. All right, let's try another one. Let's say we have 3 plus 5i times 4 minus 2i. So to multiply these two expressions, we can FOIL. So we can say, first let's do 3 times 4. So that's 12. Then let's do 3 times -2i. That's -6i. And then we'll do 5i times 4. So that's 20i. So we'll say plus 20i. And then 5i times -2i. So that's -10i squared. Okay, so let's see. Let's go ahead and combine these two terms right here that both have an I. So -6i plus 20i, that's plus 14i. And then we have -10. And remember, I squared, we said is -1. So we'll say this is just a -1. So we get 12, let's combine this 12 with this -10 times -1, that's positive 10. So we really have 12 plus 10, which is 22. And then we have plus 14i. And that will be our final answer. 22 plus 14i. All right, let's try one more. Let's say we have 5 plus 6i times 5 minus 6i. So once again, to multiply these two expressions, we can FOIL. So we can first say, what is 5 times 5? That's 25. And then we can do 5 times -6i, that's -30i. 6i times 5, that's positive 30i. And then 6i times -6i, so that's -36i squared. Okay, so this -30i and this positive 30i will cancel out. So we're left with 25 minus 36i squared. And remember we said I squared is -1. So this is really just times -1. So 25, a -36 times a -1 is a positive 36. So we'll write 25 plus 36. And that is just 61. So it turns out that the answer is just 61, just a constant. Thanks for watching.